Why do we have to face some sort of tragedy or suffering or pain to actually learn to pause for a second and be like, oh, wait, I'm human too. Like the advice that I give my patients, do I take that advice myself? And then the narrative that came out during COVID, like healthcare workers are superheroes. I want to retire my superhero cape. I'm not a superhero, actually. I'm like a human just like you are.
Just like
right?
Yeah, 100%.
Right? And those are the conversations that really need to change in medicine. It's like we might be perceived as being strong. And in our work, in that environment, sure. But there's limits around that as well, right? We are taking on so much of people and things that you've got to learn how to say no to them and yes to yourself and be at peace with that.
Because that's not what we're trained to do, right? We're trained to be selfless. Right? We're trained to give. We're trained to always be available. We're trained to be team players, that's what we're trained to do. What we're talking about, that's not part of our training, and that's, before, right? For far too long, it was actually looked down upon.
We're all amazing. Like us physicians, we are so amazing and we are resilient, and that is fine to be resilient. But again, there are limits around that, right? Pace yourself, like advocate for yourself just as you would advocate for your patients.
So, question for you about what you said about we are all resilient. What do you mean by that?
So resilience for me comes from adversity. And the way I explain it to my kids, I'm like, you got a C on that test? Amazing. Because now you know what failure feels like. And the people that face failure but get back up and they still move along are the ones that are going to go further in life, are the ones that are going to be resilient. And so for us physicians, the way that we got to going through the MCAT and undergrad and residency and fellowship, and people that have moved on to and some people are trying to get MBAs and MPHs and administrative roles, is not because we had not had failure. It is because of our failures.
Interesting. So what you're saying is that the road to becoming a healthcare professional wasn't smooth sailing?
Right. And you don't want life to be like that.
Along the lines of resiliency, do you feel like we need to become more resilient?
No, I think we need to have more balance in our life, because being more resilient is exactly like wearing that superhero cape. Keep doing more, keep being more, keep giving more. No, we need to have more balance in our life. And maybe resiliency needs to balance with like boundaries and self-care, whatever that definition is, because I think it's different for everyone. And one of the big concepts that I really like to teach is like, up to this point, we have been giving. And when you give, you literally take a piece of yourself and you're like, here you go. And then you're left with like crumbs. And you wonder why you feel horrible. So what can we do instead of giving? How can we share, not give? Giving is taking a piece of yourself. You're actively doing something. It takes energy. You're taking your energy and giving it to someone else. Sharing is you are filling yourself up first. You're completely whole, grounded, settled, joy, whatever you want to name that, fulfilled. And then passively, that energy just overflows to what's outside of you. You're not grinding and pushing and giving, right? You're not getting pulled by the force. You're simply like literally standing there in the room, and people can just feed off of your energy because you're filled with so much joy and happiness and fulfillment and contentment yourself that now you're able to radiate it out to everyone else.
For us, by us.
hope for med